Hello, Virgo. Michelle B here. I'm about to give you a reading of cards that I spread already, and I've had a good chance to meditate on them for a little bit. The reading is about money. So essentially, I don't feel like you're running out of money in this case, in this reading. It's like you want to do something new, but you don't know how. Like, you know that there's easier ways to get money, but you're not sure how to get into that vibrational state. So I'll talk more about that. If this is not a reading that you need to know anything about, Virgo, make sure and check out the readings for your moon, your rising, your Venus, or your Mars on my channel. I have all the signs on my channel, but also you can check on other YouTube tarot readers channels. There's so much great advice, positive advice out there for you. This is not necessarily about relationships at this time, okay? If you want to keep sticking it out and finding out what your messages are in this reading that I've spread out for you, make sure and stay tuned. And if you love it, give it a thumbs up. So let's go ahead and get going. I always start with an affirmation to ground us in it's like the affirmation is the kickoff, but it's also the finish of the reading. Like, this is what we have to keep in mind, what we have to get from it in the long run. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly. You know this, like you've had this, if you've been tuning into social media at all in these circles in the last 5 years, all you're hearing is it's like all these law of attraction affirmations being like, money just comes to me easily and effortlessly. And you're like, I've never seen evidence of that. Well, think about, I know for myself, when I think about the biggest chunks of money that I've ever received, I didn't actually go out and earn. Okay. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But you're like, what about those times in between though, Michelle? What about those times when I have to go out there and trudge away in the trenches doing things that I don't necessarily enjoy in order to get that, possible little bit of money? And I'm like, did you love it or not? Did you love it or not? If you did love it and you get paid, you happen to get paid from it, that's awesome. Not everything that we do is so that we can immediately get paid. If you're doing work just so that you can get paid, work that you hate just so that you can get paid, you're going the wrong direction. That's just our programming from previous generations that had that paradigm, that mindset, that believed that you have to work hard doing things you hate in order to get money. And that's such a stupid mindset to hold on to. But we had lots of other silly mindsets that are still lingering, like the world is flat, stuff like that, right? And we know better. We know that our planet is round. And also we know that the easiest money that you could ever get is money that you don't have to work hard and hurt yourself and be uncomfortable for, okay? Now we know this, but how do we get to that vibration? So, what to embrace and what to leave behind. We're leaving behind the old paradigm. That's the world is the major arcana that closes everything out and transitions us to the next phase. So leaving behind who we used to be. And there's a part of you, Virgo, that's going to have to die. A part of your internal self, your unconscious self, that's going to have to go. And I feel like this has to do with the mindsets that we learned from our influential adults when we were growing up, the mindsets that we learned from media that we consumed, that's, show people working in coal mines in order to just barely feed their children, right? To barely keep themselves housed. It's the paradigm of the martyr. And Virgo loves to associate themselves with the hardworking martyr. I know, I'm a Virgo. So that's a part of you that's going to have to go. Another part of you that's going to have to go is that the part of you that wants approval from your peers, that believe that you have to work hard to get your money. So like in the line of work that I've done, I have several side jobs that I do. And people ask me, how much do you charge for that small business that you run? And I'm like, I tell them how much. And they're like, but you could hire someone off the corner to do that for you for less than minimum wage under the table. Like, why would we want to pay you 3 times the amount? And I'm like, well, you don't have to, right? But there's a part of me that's like, oh, who am I to think that I'm so freaking special to charge that much for my effort, right? That part of you has to die. That part of you that wants approval from other people because you're staying small with them, right? You have to be willing to let that part of you go. That's the part of you that wants to stay small so that you can be relatable to your old peers, right? You want to be a person that just doesn't do that doesn't work at jobs that you hate, okay? Some of us I love cleaning houses. I get off on it as long as I'm getting paid really well to do it. So I do that on a very, very part-time level so that my body stays healthy. I don't hurt myself. I don't hurt my skin. I don't hurt my lungs. So I like to keep a rounded lifestyle, but I do like to clean houses for clients that have a positive vibration in their home and that will pay me really well for that work. So I get fulfillment from doing that on a very part-time level, okay? I'm satisfied and happy with that. And that's what you want to be going for. The work that in the confines of how you do it makes you feel good. And if it comes to a point where you don't like it, then you have to back out of that. You have to be willing to let that part of you go. The part of you that says, no, I have to be working hard or I'm not a good person. Good people work hard. The Protestant work ethic that we're leaving behind says, oh, you got to work hard or you're just a bum. But you're not just a bum, Virgo. So much of the work that you do, you don't get paid a dime for. What about all that domestic work you do in your own home? Caring for your children, caring for your partner. What about the little things that you do for your friends? Are you getting paid for that? No, you're not. But the universe sees you, okay? So just because you're not busting your ass at something for a little bit of money doesn't mean that you're not doing things for the community, okay? We all have our part to play to be of service when we are needed. And if anyone is of service, it is always Virgo, okay? So the reading the cards open with the 3 of Pentacles and it closes with the 3 of Pentacles from 2 different decks. Look at this. This is really interesting. I feel like Virgo has places where they want to go. There's some things that Virgo wants to learn about because we've got the 3 of Wands and we've got the King of Swords are both here. And it's like, I'm waiting for something different, something that's going to give me a spark, right? There's things that you have interest in, but you don't quite have either the skills, maybe you do have the skills, but you don't have the connections yet. You don't feel worthy of participating in that kind of work environment. So what you're being asked to do at the beginning, at the end, what to embrace, and the advice is get yourself out of your comfort zone and meet the people in the line of work that you're interested in. So I think this is you. I very much see this as being you, Virgo, and you're hanging out with these people that have the connections, know what to do, right? So for me, in the tarot reading and astrology, the divination community, that would be me going and talking to people that have like little gift shops with little witchy gift shops and going and talking to them and being like, what kinds of things do you need around here? Like, how could I possibly support you? Like talking to those people. What can I do to support you, right? How can we work together? How can we collaborate? It's very much about each of us bringing our own skills to the table to help each other. So this is something really important for you. I feel like this is the key that the universe is giving to you. As I was spreading the cards, I was like, what is the secret password to effortless money? What's the secret password? Because the universe sees you. It sees you. I want to show you this. Judgment is here looking out over the Empress. The universe sees you and how far you've come to be in alignment with your abundance, your divine abundance. And it's stemmed from your true desire to be of service, to help people, right? So the universe is like God, source, guardian angels, whatever you identify with, whichever divine entity you associate with, it sees you and it's like, deserve, right? I mean, just being alive, you deserve the best. But you have been doing what it takes, okay? So we've got the King of Cups, and the Two of Cups are also here, and it's like, I'm trying to figure out what those are trying to allude to. So we've got you thinking, I want to do something new. I need another edge. I need something, some kind of spark. And I feel like that's going to come from you being vulnerable enough to show up with other people that are doing like things, and saying, how can each of us bring our skills to the table? So I got that, all right? I got letting go of the former you that would be embarrassed to say what kind of work you do, okay? Let go of that. If people judge, then let them judge. It's okay. You're living your best life. And if they want to be in misery, toiling in the coal mine, they can go ahead and do that. Okay, but let's look at that King of Cups. I want to show them to you and see if you can figure out what they mean to you. And then I'm going to clarify with some other cards, okay? King of Cups. I was just like, for me being a Virgo, looking at this, I'm like, I'm seeing someone close to you that wants to be supportive somehow. And I think this might just be Magician. Interesting. Magician. This might be a person that's, or sorry, some Virgos might identify with this and some might not. But it feels like the Magician is, some of you have someone hanging around you that promises to be helpful, but I think that they just want to, this is only for certain Virgos that need to hear it. They're acting like they want to be helpful, but they actually aren't. I'm sorry to throw that monkey wrench in there. Just watch out for that, for those Virgos who are like, oh yeah, I want to help you. I want to help you. We can work on this together, but they're just trying to get what they can out of it. I'm just seeing this cup over and over and over again. So Virgo, I'm giving you a warning not to get too distracted in your personal relationships that go outside of work. Sometimes we can get dragged into just like lolling around in bed with our lover, and instead of doing the work that we need to do, we're like so focused on their needs that we neglect ourselves. So this might be another part of you that needs to, it's not like it needs to die, but it just needs to be put on the back burner, is that part of you that wants to like get lost in romance, get lost in connection. And instead, like, if this is what you want, this is what you need to be focusing on. And just having a lot of fun while you're at it. The main thing is, whatever work you, if you're not, like, there's things that we do and we're like, oh, okay, I really don't want to be doing this, but it's getting me to what I want to do. So you want to be doing that, right? The little things, if you can't delegate it out to somebody else, just do it, right? And be like, okay, well, eventually I'll be able to delegate this to someone else. But most of the drudgery that we go through, we don't even have to be doing. So that this is something to keep in mind for the future. If it's so hard, don't do it, because it just drags you down. Even if it means having to make a little bit of a sacrifice. So for me, working outside my other side gig, working outside in the wintertime is too much drudgery. So I don't do it, and instead I just spend less money. That's just the way it goes. I'm like, well, more money will come to me later, and that's okay. But right now I'm just like, I'm choosing my own physical comfort over money, okay? Money isn't everything. Physical and emotional well-being are way more important than money, but money comes easily when you're really happy and enjoying yourself. So do something else. Do something else instead of being concerned about the money part. Okay? Everything works out. Everything works out in the end. Everything always works out in the end. Even if you have to, I don't want to advise people to skip out on their bills, but even if you have to, in the long run, you're way better off not being uncomfortable and unhappy. Yeah, I'm going to get some negative feedback from that. But it's the truth. Okay? I love you, Virgo. Thank you so much for being with me. I feel like you're on the edge of a breakthrough of effortless money flowing to you, effortless abundance. And by effort, I mean the work that you do, you will love. You will love it. You'll so enjoy it. If you loved it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. In the description box below this video, you'll find a link to my Instagram. Please, my Virgo loves, come over and be my friend. I love you. I'll see you in a couple weeks.